I think I started the gym around 4 or 5 years ago now. I've only been going seriously for like disciplined and consistently for a few years. I was quite skinny when I started. I was actually skinny fat, which is where you're imagine like a skinny guy, but with belly fat somehow. Not too much where you're strong. It's just like kind of fat. It's just the worst kind of body you can have. Not to say that you can obviously improve it, which is what I'm going to fucking talk about. So I was quite skinny, and honestly, without really noticing it over the past 4 or 5 years, I've gotten quite big. It's quite funny I say that, oh boy, if you've seen me in real life, because I'm actually quite big. I'm 6'3", 6'2", like 190 centimeters, and 210 pounds, more or less. Which, yes, it's not fucking like massive, but it is quite big, especially for my age, given I'm 17. And it was only recently that I realized how big of an advantage that is. Now, one thing I never really understood is the whole like aesthetic physique. I think that's kind of gay. Like the fucking skinny waist and the like toned arms or whatever. I never got that. I think it's important to be big and strong. Because the thing is, if you want to get like little TikTok girls, like fucking underage girls, then having the broccoli hair, like the thing that goes out the front and is a little curly and faded on the sides, and having the aesthetic, like kind of skinny TikTok boy physique, that's going to work great. But if you don't want underage girls, or if you want like a more feminine kind of girl, then getting big is the way to go. Now, there's a lot of benefits. The first one I wrote is that strangers defer to you. Just people in general defer to you. This is some like primal thing I would imagine. Like if somebody's bigger, like you think about this yourself, right? I can think about this myself too. If I see somebody who's bigger than me, like just fucking much bigger than me physically, I'm less likely to disrespect him for no reason. Whereas if he's skinny, obviously I don't disrespect random people, but you would feel more like comfortable pushing him around or like trying to get what you want in maybe a slightly then less respectful way. If you have a girlfriend, imagine you see two guys with a girlfriend. If one of them was skinny, you'd be more willing to say, like, try and flirt with her if you find her attractive. Obviously, you don't know this guy, right? Than if the guy was fucking massive and looked like he could crush your skull. Now, this isn't necessarily to say, like, go for girls who have a partner, but you get what I mean, which is people, like, on some primal level, defer more to somebody who's bigger. I hope that's not fucking controversial. I've noticed it myself, too. The second thing is women. Again, if you want to get, like, underaged, masculine, or just underaged, like, preteen girls, then go for the TikTok look. Or if you're gay. But if you're not that, or any of those things, then getting big is what gets you the women that you see in fucking porn, or that you're actually attracted to, that allow you to have an actually fantastic relationship that you really like, that like just great women in general. From my experience, again, if you're feminine or you're a little gay, then this probably isn't for you. The third thing is confidence. Getting big boosts your confidence in the gym, in life in general. It just applies to everything. And I don't think I have to say this, but having high confidence is directly correlated with amazing life outcomes in every single area of life. So, increasing confidence and everyday shit just becomes really light. Like lifting the groceries. I've noticed this a few times where like there's a few occasions where I'm just surprised. Let's say I'm in school and the teacher says, "Oh, can you move the tables? Oh, two people per table." And I go to pick up the table expecting it to be really heavy, and I lift it. And this isn't to brag about how like strong I am or whatever, but I lift it and I think, well, this isn't particularly heavy, and then I just move it myself. But I didn't mean this to be like a brag or anything, but it isn't. It's just things in your life become a lot lighter. It's a lot easier to fucking move your groceries, to help your parents move the groceries, or like pick them up and move them inside. Everything becomes easier. Your backpack feels lighter. And actually, when I think about it, you could apply this in like a more metaphorical sense, which is life in general becomes a lot lighter. It's more fun. You feel less threatened or less anxious when you are bigger. I don't know if this is some weird like placebo effect, maybe. But I kind of have noticed that I take life more lightly, like less seriously. I have more of a good time when you're big. It's just kind of fun to be big. Imagine you go to a like massive party. You can watch my video on that. If you're jacked, or if you're just like big and you have like big muscles and abs and everything, you would have a much better time than if you were skinny or fat. Just think, if you imagine the guy who's like the life of the party, is he skinny? No. Is he fat? Probably not. He's usually like a pretty jacked guy. So that's something else I just thought about now. Obviously, being tall helps. If you have it, press on that advantage. But if you don't, that's fine. You'll actually look even bigger. Like the thing is, being tall on the one hand means that I get like extra big. Like not only am I big in terms of like muscle or whatever, I'm also tall, which adds to it. But the downside to that is that building muscle doesn't take longer, but it takes longer to look the same as somebody who was shorter. Like if I was shorter and I had the same amount of muscle, I would look like I'm on steroids because you need to stretch the muscle over a longer distance. That's why taller guys tend to look a little more like lanky. I think that's the word. So if you're tall, you can use that to your advantage. If you're short, you can also use that to your advantage. That being said, I would obviously, it's better to be tall, but it's not the end of the world. Like most people are just average height. That's why it's average. And if you're a little taller, like you can really press on that. Because being tall and skinny just makes you look even skinnier. So, and more like unstable and less strong. So what would the ideal be? What am I going for? I'm not going for the Ronnie Coleman fucking like steroid trend look. I just want to be big. My goal right now by the beginning of July, the 1st of July, is reaching 100 kilos, which is 220 pounds. I'm currently at 94, 95 kilos. And then by the end of the year, I want to get to 100 kilos, but lean. So I think I'm going to bulk up and maybe bulk up a little more and then cut down to 100. Eventually, I hope to get to 120 kilos. Maybe that's too much for like my joints and everything. I don't know. We'll see. But my goal is just to become big. Like when walking, like, I don't know why I always wanted to, but I just wanted to be big. And there are a lot of benefits that I've noticed and that I very much enjoy. So I will keep doing that. And I just want you to imagine right now how nice it would be if you were bigger than you are right now. Like obviously in terms of muscle, but maybe even a little taller. Not to say get fucking bone lengthening surgery, but if you're still a teen, there's ways to improve your genetic outcome, which is like through good diets. I don't know if stretching helps, or like good sleep, all of these things, avoiding alcohol, smoking, all of these things. Like just imagine the difference it makes in every single area of your life. People respect you more. You get like more promotions probably. Taller people, so bigger people, are more successful on average. Again, you might not be able to change your height, but you can definitely change your size. With women, complete game changer. With sports, with your enjoyment of life, like everything just becomes so much better when you're big. Life just becomes more fun. In terms of what I would do if I had to start again, I would just train consistently and slow bulk, which is kind of what I did. And then obviously sleep 8 hours, etc. What I mean by slow bulk is instead of like bulking and cutting, I don't like cutting when you're still a teenager because you need nutrients to develop. I just kind of had a it's like slow by bulking standards, but pretty good bulk over the past few years where I just put on 20, 30 kilos. How much is that? 40 to 60 pounds over the last 3 years, I think. 2 to 3 years. And that's what I would do. And I would eat protein and whole foods, avoiding all the fucking processed junk. If you don't know me, my mission is to become enlightened, and I basically share my journey and the things I learned along the way, my observations about life, the human experience, and the universe. So if that sounds interesting, you can follow along, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah.